I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her.
You're considered the most liberal United States senator. Well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
We are going to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross borders criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
A lot of the signs at the rally you just held were people standing there saying, abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you agree with?
We need to probably think about starting from scratch.
So you support giving universal health care, Medicare for all to people who are in this country illegally?
I am opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being public health, period.
Are you for defunding the police?
How are you defining defund the police? It's actually wrong and backward to think that more police officers will create more safety. We need to get rid of money bail.
Convicted, in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation. I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. I have always supported Medicare for all. I was very happy to sign on to Bernie's bill, and I give Bernie, frankly, a lot of credit. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video. And before we start, please put prayers for Donald Trump in the comment section. We must protect President Trump at all costs. And now as we get into this video, y'all see the Kamala Harris for president thing, it just heating up. And now they trying to lie and say that Joe Biden never said that Kamala Harris was the border czar. Now CNN, MSNBC, all of them just going on this tantrum saying Republicans are lying on Kamala Harris. This right here is crazy. You can literally hear when Joe Biden put her in charge of it. And now they want to say, oh, well, Joe Biden never appointed her as border czar. Okay, we about to find out. Like I said, make sure y'all please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with everything that's going on. So without further ado, we definitely got to dive straight into this, because this right here, I mean the lies that the Democrats just constantly do. All these lies. They seen it live when Joe Biden said this, and you know, about Kamala, about the border, and now they want to act like he never said it. All these people do is lie. So without further ado, let's dive straight to it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright, so I just wrapped up another Kamala Harris video. It seems like that's all we're going to be talking about for a little while here. In the previous video, we tackled the latest and greatest in Democrat narratives, specifically relating to Kamala Harris supposedly bringing back every black voter that ditched the DNC. I presented evidence that counters the current Democrat narrative, so we spoke about the black vote, and now it's time to move on to the next demographic. Of course, it's the female vote. Democrats are making the claim that Kamala Harris essentially's got it in the bag. Well, just like the last video I recorded, I'm saying the same thing. It seems like the people have a different perspective. MSNBC did a little focus group with female voters in Wisconsin, and let's just say it's probably not exactly what the DNC headquarters were hoping to hear. Let me show you guys what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so you guys know exactly how these focus group videos go. Let's just give the floor to these Wisconsinite female voters and get an idea of where their head's at.
How do you perceive Vice President Harris compared to President Biden in terms of competency and experience?
I think she's worse. She doesn't even know what's going on at the border.
Right.
And that's what she was supposed to be doing and in charge of. I mean, as a school teacher, if I did not do what I was supposed to be doing, you better believe my job would be in jeopardy. Well, it isn't. Not only was her job not in jeopardy, she was just handed a promotion.
Is there anyone that Kamala Harris could appoint as her vice president that you would find reassuring, would make you consider voting for her?
No. Never consider voting for her. No.
I would do RFK Jr. way before her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And she's not the first woman to run for the presidency, Hillary Clinton. I'm assuming no one voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So it's not necessarily going to sway you to vote for a woman in office. When do you think America will have a female president?
When there's a competent one.
I don't get a good feel for her.
I think she's an idiot.
Right.
Mary, why do you think that she's not that bright?
Because she hasn't done anything in the time that she's had. We don't know anything about her as far as her 3 years so far in the White House. She's not real smart.
Yeah, I think there's only two appropriate responses here. Two
That's
words.
facts.
The first one is oof. And the second one is yikes. Like I said, not exactly what they were hoping to hear. In other words, it's the truth. And that right there is one thing Democrats never want to hear. The freaking truth. Well, the truth is hitting them straight in the face real quick that clearly this little last minute switcheroo here isn't going to instantly hand them over the election because very simply the average American, first off, isn't as dumb as the DNC thinks they are, and secondly, most of us don't have the memory of a goldfish. In other words, we member. Yet, newsflash to the DNC, we're not all suffering from the same thing that caused Joe Biden to withdraw from the race. We remember the last 4 years, and that right there has the Democrat establishment panicking. Kamala Harris royally sucks. At one point, she was branded the least popular vice president in American history. And no, Democrats, I can already hear you screeching, not because people are racist and not because she's a woman. No, because of her job performance.
Exactly.
We all remember when Kamala Harris was put in charge of the southern border. She was dubbed by the media Joe Biden's border czar. And of course, what did she oversee? Well, she oversaw complete chaos at the southern border. Complete, objective, absolute, total failure. People remember Kamala Harris's performance. It wasn't that long ago. It's actually pretty fresh in people's minds. And that, of course, is a big problem for the Democrat establishment. And trust me when I tell you, they are panicking as they're now actively trying to rewrite history. You won't believe this, but now apparently the media is claiming that Vice President Kamala Harris was never actually the border czar.
Vice President Harris was not a border czar.
Oh,
what he
God.
said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
People are gonna have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
Yeah, Kamala Harris was never actually the border czar. That's fake news, Republicans. I mean, really? Democrats are really going to try to pull this one? Kamala Harris was never the border czar? Then please explain this.
And the Biden administration did task Vice President Kamala Harris with the issue of migrant crossings, naming her the so-called border czar.
I've asked her, the VP, today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle.
Meantime, Vice President and border czar Kamala Harris facing some back.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Yep, you guessed it. Democrats being as dishonest as you'd expect them.
And then they sitting up here being dishonest, and they literally heard Joe Biden say that she's pretty much up to the task to get the job done, which means she's the border czar. She's in charge of it. And then they sitting here, oh, Joe Biden ain't never put her in charge of the border. Yet they right here, they see in video of him literally saying it. And they still are sitting here denying it. All these people do is lie. Trying to lie their way back in office. That's not going to happen. Because we're going to get Donald Trump back in office. All they doing is sitting up. And then they lying about something like this. She just in charge of the border just as much as Joe Biden was. Letting all these illegal immigrants in. She knew about all of this, didn't try to stop it, didn't try to do anything about it. All this stuff was happening to innocent women, what these illegal immigrants was doing, and she did nothing about it. But yet now they think that we all supposed to just vote for Kamala Harris? No, that's not going to happen.
To be. They're playing a ridiculous game of semantics. Joe Biden never literally named Kamala Harris the border czar.
He literally said it.
Okay, all right. It doesn't get any more dishonest than this, right? Democrats are playing semantics. Yeah, sure, he never actually named her the, quote, border czar, but he did essentially put her in charge of the border crisis. Yep. In other words, she was the border czar, in charge of the issue, in charge of tackling the root causes of the illegal migration issue. Tomato, tomato. Once again, these people are full of it. I mean, just observe the level of dishonesty, this rewriting of history. Here's a brand new tweet from Axios. The Trump campaign and Republicans have tagged Harris repeatedly with the border czar title, which she never actually had. Now let's do a flashback to March of 2021. Vice President Kamala Harris said Wednesday she plans to visit Mexico and Guatemala as soon as possible in a diplomatic effort to address surging migration at the U.S.-Mexican border. Why it matters: the number of unaccompanied minors crossing the border has reached crisis levels. Kamala Harris, appointed by Biden as border czar, said that she would be looking at the root causes that drive migration.
Exactly.
Holy freaking moly.
So that right there pretty much saying she's in charge of the border, so she's the border czar. And now they want to sit up here and lie and say that Joe Biden didn't appoint her as that. Pretty much in words of you listening to him, oh, she's up to the job, so she can get it done. He pretty much putting her in charge because he feel like she can get it done. And they sit up here lying. I mean, this is what MSNBC and CNN, ABC, this is what they do. They never wants to tell the truth. They want to continue and just sit up here and lie. Lie to the American people like they've been doing, like they've been hiding Joe Biden's health this entire time, knowing he wasn't up to standards. He shouldn't even been the president, but they've been hiding it for 3.5 years, and the truth finally came out, and they're going to just ditch Biden 3 months ahead of time to the election, throw Kamala in there to think people just going to sway their votes to her because of skin color? What? These people are full of it, full of lies.
This is actually the talking point. Once again, Democrats engaging in the same gaslighting nonsense. You have people who remember exactly what happened. They remember Kamala Harris and her infamous "don't come" speech. I remember the news cycle like it was yesterday, and clearly so do female voters in Wisconsin. And the Democrat counter strategy here is, you're crazy, that never happened. Alright, so far here's the summation of the current Democrat strategy to get Kamala Harris elected. Lie, gaslight, essentially treat the people, treat us as if we're crazy or stupid, or of course the typical coveted Democrat tactic, just simply point the finger at the other side and claim that they're racist. What an absolute farce. You know, I gotta give the Democrat establishment and their media apparatus, their media machine, a super high score for effort. I mean, in terms of trying, they're in the 90 percentile. You gotta give credit where credit is due. But in terms of actual substance, yeah, not much there. They're trying so hard to spin a narrative, but clearly it's not working. We got a bunch more polls that just dropped, and this is pretty much what it's looking like. Kamala
and that's the problem. They want to say that Donald Trump is lying on her. She literally was the border czar, just like how they constantly saying Donald Trump, if he become president, he's the threat to democracy. They can put these titles on Donald Trump all day, every day, calling him Hitler. But as soon as they say something about Kamala, oh, they being a racist, they being this, they being that. Now they want to try to move everything. This is crazy.
Seems to be performing maybe slightly better than Joe Biden at his absolute worst, but for the most part, the race seems relatively unchanged. I mean, for Pete's sakes, NPR just released a poll showing Trump ahead by 1 point. That's freaking NPR. I don't think NPR released a poll this year showing Joe Biden losing to Trump. Let me double check that though really quick, because I could be wrong. Bear with me for a second here. Let's go ahead and take a look. Trump versus Biden 2024. Isolate specifically for NPR polls. Take a look right over here. Not a single NPR poll over the last nearly 10 months has shown Trump ahead. Now they switch Kamala Harris in, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump's winning in the NPR survey. I'd love to give it to you, Democrats, but unfortunately for you, the facts just simply aren't there. They don't back up your claims. The people obviously aren't buying it, and no amount of cringy TikTok dancing is gonna change that. If Kamala is a brat, then I'm a brat. Hashtag I'm with her. Yeah, if that's the strategy instead of addressing the actual track record, well then I think Democrats might be in for a disappointing November 2024. Anyways, that's pretty much it.
Well, there you go right there. As y'all can see, the lies of Kamala Harris, MSNBC, CNN lying about she was never the border czar, which you can literally hear Joe Biden saying that she is the one that's going to get the job done. She's going to be going to the border. She's going to be going here. She's going to be going there, trying to make sure everything is all right. And now they want to lie and say that she was never in charge. This is just plumb blank crazy. But this is what they do. Continue to lie and lie their way back in office. And that right there is not going to help because the American people see exactly what's going on, what they trying to do. Like I said, they just trying to lie their way back into the office, and it's not going to work. Like I said, y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.